Hello, my name is Beth Kumar and I am one of the librarians at the GTU library. Today I'm going to go through all of the things you need to know as a new student or as a returning student if it's been a while. We're going to do a little bit of everything to get started here. So first of all, I just want to let you know that you don't have to take a lot of notes. We have guides and tutorials. This is our homepage, gtu.edu/library. And we have guides and tutorials up here where you can go to this page and we have some library orientation guides and some very specific guides on different religions. My name is Beth Kumar, so this is me. And the other two librarians that are available for help are Stephanie Miller in the middle here, and that is Nasan KD. We are available during weekday business days three ways. One is on chat. We have the chat box. It's after hours now, so the system is offline. You'll see this when we're not there. But if you come during weekday business hours, one of the three of us are there online. Another place to chat us, if you are in the guide, there is a chat box in the guide and in Moodle. So if you are in your class in Moodle, you will see a chat box on every page in Moodle as well. So that's a good way to get hold of us. You can also email us at library@gtu.edu, and that'll get emailed to us. Or if you'd like to talk to us on Zoom for a one-on-one research appointment, you can either email or chat us and set up an appointment, and we can sit down with you on Zoom and talk to you about whatever you're doing with the library. So the next thing I want to point out is when I'm showing you things that we have subscriptions to, for example, I'm showing you library databases or journal articles, ebooks, things like that. The login is going to be your student ID number and your last name. And if you don't know your student ID number, you can check with your registrar. It's usually 2 letters followed by 7 numbers, but I know some of the schools have a little different configuration. So that's the number that will get you into everything that the library subscribes to. For this semester, fall, we are not issuing photo ID cards at the beginning of the semester. Normally we would get you a photo ID card when you come in for orientation. But as of right now, you don't need a photo ID card to use any of this stuff. You'll just use your login. At some point, when the library reopens, we'll probably get photo ID cards, but for now, just use that. If you are faculty or staff member and you don't have a student ID number, just email us and we can set you up with one. All right? So, a couple of things I want to point out on our webpage to get started. One is in the middle of the page right here, you'll see 3 different ways to search, okay? So Grace right here, this is our catalog. This is a pretty standard catalog if you've used, catalog at public library or at a previous university. This is our advanced catalog of stuff that we have. So this will get you the books and ebooks and other things that we have. We also have a search electronic resources page, which is the A to Z list of all of our databases. So if you want to go in, you want to search a specific database, you can go in through this page, and I'll talk about this page in a little bit more later. But the big search here is called Summon. And Summon is an all-in-one search. You can kind of as the Google for our library. This will get you both of these combined. So you're going to get everything we have in the library catalog, and you're going to get all of our research databases. You're also going to get things like theses or dissertations, if anyone's written anything like that, DVDs, whatever we have in the library that you have access to. Summon is an all-in-one search that will get you in. So I want to show you a couple examples of how to search in Summon and how to narrow your results. So let's say I'm just getting started and I'm not really sure exactly what I'm looking for. I just kind of want to do a broad search. Let's just say I'm going to do religion and ecology. And I haven't really narrowed down my topic that much. Now, when you can get in, you can see I have 51,000 results. You're also going to see, you'll see a little article up there. The chat box is also in Summon. So in case you get stuck and you want to go in and Summon. Now, on the first page, you might see something immediately that you want to look at, but you can also narrow in the side here. So you can see there's some different ways of refining your search. One of the most popular ones is this full text online. This will get rid of all the print items we have. So if you're looking, let's say you're out of the country or you're in another state, you're not nearby the Bay Area at all, when you click full text online, it's going to get rid of all of the physical items. So you're going to be left with books and ebooks. Sorry, ebooks and journal articles. And you can see that the top ones are ebooks, and then these are journal articles. I still have a lot of results. So you can narrow down even more if you'd like. You could narrow to scholarly and peer review. If your professor wants you to have peer-reviewed articles, you could narrow to that. Maybe you don't have a library card and you're a visitor. If you don't have access to our paid subscriptions, you can click open access. So that would get rid of the ebooks that the library subscribes to and would just give you free resources. You can also narrow by content type. So if you know that you want articles, or maybe you're just looking for book reviews, any one of these will narrow to that type. Publication date. There's discipline, which I find a little less helpful. And then at the bottom is language. And you can see there's more languages too. So you can narrow based on your search to a specific language if you'd like. So let me go back up. I think this first book sounds great. So I'm going to click on that. And I've already logged in. So it just took me directly to the book. If this is your first time clicking on something, it's going to ask you again for your last name and your student ID number. And that's all you need to get access. Now, there's a few things I want to point out about the ebooks. The ebooks are great because you do not need any special device to read them. You can read them in any device that has a browser. So I'm reading it on my laptop. You could read it even on a phone or a tablet, any device with a browser. You could go here and you could read it. With most of these books, I recommend students go down to the table of contents, and you can actually jump to the area that you want. You can see there is a PDF full text on the side, but this is really nice because I can go directly in to the exact chapter I want, and it's going to open on my screen, and I can just start reading it. So you can see, and now I'm just in here, okay? Let me go back. You can see there's a lot of other options too. I'm going to talk a little bit later about doing citations and things like that. But one thing I do want to point out in here is that some of the publishers have restrictions on how many people can use the same book at the same time. Now, we have many unlimited copies of books where all of you can read the same book at the same time. Some of them, the publishers do a limited user access where there's one copy available at a time. So this would be similar to if someone has the print book, somebody is reading it. The nice thing about this is, soon as I would navigate away from this page and I'm not using this book anymore, the next person would be able to read it. So if you do click on any of these and you see the book is in use, just wait, about 15 minutes and then try again, because somebody might just be looking at it a little bit. It's very rare that someone is using the exact same book at the exact same time, but occasionally it does happen. The other thing is the publisher will have permissions on how many pages you can actually print and email and save from here. So this one has 100 pages. Some have more, some have less. So if you are someone who likes to print books, if you want to print ebooks and take notes and things like that on them, this particular book has a 100-page limit on it, and you would have to create an account. So there's a little sign in where you could create an account for this publisher is called EBSCO. This is our vendor, and then you would be able to print off 100 pages from this particular book. The nice thing about Summon is it opens in a new tab, so I never lose my search. So my search is still here, and you can see I have that book open there. So then if I wanted to go to the next book, this looks good, and I could click on it. It's gonna open a new tab again. So you can see, here's another one. This one I could jump right down and say, okay, I wanna look at Indigenous, let's do Pacific region. And so it's much faster to go down to the table of contents than just starting with the PDF and starting at page 1 and having to page through the entire book. This I can just open up right exactly where I want. Okay. And then to get rid of any of these filters, you can just unclick them if you wanted. Now I will talk in a little bit about getting physical items. But for right now, I just wanted to show you in Summon that it's pretty easy using the sidebars to go in and go exactly where you'd like to go. There is also an advanced search. So this search is just a keyword search. If you go into the advanced search, some of you may be used to using subject terms. You can use subject terms if you want, if there's something very specific that you know about a book, like a title or an author, you can go into the advanced search and put those in. I just put a very generic search so I could start looking. If I knew what I wanted, I can also add more terms. So if I decided, okay, I do want to do, you know, Indigenous peoples, I could put that in, and you can even add terms. So I could add Pacific region or California, something like that. You could add in more terms if you wanted a very, very specific search. And then you wouldn't end up with 51,000 results. You might, you know, end up with more like 100, which is more manageable to look. All right, and then this will just take you back. So you can see I'm back in here again. Over here, the related topics, some of these might be of interest to you too, and these again are links, so that'll give you a search for doing that. So if I knew I wanted journal articles, I could do full text online journal articles. And then I'm going to get some more journal articles. You can see this is that open access. This is what I was talking about before. Some of these publications are freely available for anyone to read, and other ones like Religious Studies Review that do not have that little logo are ones that we do subscribe to. So you would have to log in to get those. Okay, I'm going to go back to the GTU homepage. And I want to show you this Search Electronic Resources page. Now, this is something that you may want to use depending on how many results you're getting in Summon. This is going to give you, this is a giant A to Z list of some of the resources that we have. And I want to point out a few things on this page. First of all, we are getting some new databases that we've just subscribed to this month, so they're still being activated. One of them is, we've had for a while, the GTU ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. So this is dissertations and theses from anyone who's graduated from GTU schools. We have them both in print on the shelf, and then the more recent ones are actually online in this database. And we just purchased a new database, which is the Global Dissertations and Theses database. So you'll actually be able to read dissertations and theses from other schools. So not just GTU, you'll still be able to read ours, but you can read, for example, if someone, you know, graduated from Oxford University, you'll be able to go in and read those dissertations and theses as well. So that's going to be coming soon at the beginning of the semester. And then we have this ATLA Religion Plus database. This database, like all of our databases, is included in Summon, but it also has a couple tips and little tricks that students like to do. So I'm going to show you one of those. So when I go in, one of the nice tricks is if, let's say you're researching about the Bible and you have a specific Bible verse that you would like to find material on, articles, there is a scripture search up here in the top. Okay, you see that? And when I click on it, it's going to give me the books, and it gives the non-canon books as well. And I'm just going to pick one. You can expand to go further into a chapter and even further into a particular verse. So I just did Genesis 1:1. And you can see I have 1,500 articles that talk about Genesis 1:1. Now, the nice thing about this is you could be more specific if you wanted. You could even add a search term here to search these articles for something in particular. So if you're writing a paper and you want to argue about something or bring something up, if you add a search term, it'll search these articles and help you find very specific articles on the Bible verse you're talking about. And then these, you would just open up the PDF full text. And you can see there's the PDF full text is opening up, and then I have the article here. And then I can go back to my results. And then that was the scripture search. So this is really nice because you can page through, you can find exactly what you're looking for, and you can go in and you can see it keeps going. And you can see it includes some of the letters and things like that too. So you can go in and do that. So this is a very popular thing if you would like to get into some of this. I'm going to go back to the GTU homepage. Okay. So all of the databases I've showed you so far are accessible for all GTU students. So if you're enrolled at any of the GTU member schools, you can get in and you can use all of these databases. So we have, I think it's like 112 databases now that you can search individually, plus our catalog. We have 700,000 items. So that's a lot of stuff to search. But some schools in the GTU also have a relationship with another university. So for example, if you're at JST, you're affiliated with Santa Clara, PLTS is affiliated with Cal Lutheran, and SFTS is with University of Redlands. If you are at one of those schools, you can also search their library. So their library would have different resources than we have. Our resources are, a lot of it's focused on religion. But if you, for example, are a JST student and you want to go into Santa Clara's resources, just go to their library homepage and you can search in that. And there is some information in the guides and tutorials. There's some shortcuts to the other libraries and to the chat services and things like that at those libraries. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you're looking for more resources, you can get in and do those. So, okay. The one final thing I want to show you with electronic resources is that often you'll have a particular citation for a journal and you want to know, do we have it or not? So you could put it in Summon. Depending on the name of the journal, you might get a ton of results, but you can also put in the journal here. So we call this the EJournal Portal. This is a little link that it's a shortcut to take you directly into a particular journal. Now, the biggest question I get about this page is students will type in the title of the article and they'll get 0 results. And what you actually need to type in is the title of the journal, the publication. Oops. How about that one? All right, so here is the Journal of Spirituality and Mental Health. And if this is a particular journal that I wanted to read, it's nice because it shows you the particular dates we have. So we have 1997 to present in Taylor and Francis. That's just one of our databases, and this link would take you in. It also tells me that this is peer reviewed. So if this is something that's important to you, if you want to find peer reviewed articles or your professor is assigning those, you can find those. Those are going to be the more scholarly type articles. So this is just a really quick shortcut just to get in, show you the ones you want. So let me do another one. Some of these are a lot of different dates. And so that just depends on the particular journal you were searching for. So for example, if you were looking for something in the Journal of Religion, if I was looking for an older article, let's say 1922, you can see those years are freely available. Where if I was looking for something from, this year, you would click on this, and this would take you to the current access. It's from the University of Chicago Press is where it is. So you can go in depending on the year you need. And some students see there's a lot of dates here, and but this is what's nice when you have your citation in your hand. You just look and say, okay, I need to go into this one, and then you can get the article for this year. If that's what you'd like to do. All right, I am just going to go back and talk about workshops for a minute. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to be able to cover today, but we do have a workshops page, and this is being updated. We're currently working on the schedule for fall 2020. We are going to be teaching all of our workshops online. Some are going to be pre-recorded, and other ones are going to be live that you can actually log in and chat with us. So a few of the workshops I want to mention is we're going to be having at least one on biblical exegesis, which is always a very popular topic. We're going to have one on Grammarly. If you haven't used Grammarly, that is a workshop. Grammarly is a piece of software that will actually proofread your article or your papers. So it works in Word, or if you're using some other kind of software, and it tells you, if the sentences don't make sense, if it, it kind of does nice proofreading if your grammar is off. This is a really excellent piece of software just to have, to go over and look at your papers as you're writing them. Highly recommend it. And then our most popular workshop is Zotero. So Zotero is actually, I've already recorded the workshop for Zotero, and it's on the workshops page. But I just want to show you a little bit what it is. Basically, it's a free piece of software that you download on your computer, and it manages your citations. So as you're finding things, so let's see here. Let me go back, actually. We'll just go into this one. As you're going in, you're finding books, articles, maybe you're finding other web pages that are interesting. It's a lot to keep track of. So what Zotero does is it actually keeps track of the things that you're finding, and then when you're ready to write, it manages those for you. So let me show you an example. So let's say this is a article that I happen to find, and this looks great. I already have Zotero on my computer, and you can see I have a lot of folders here. And you can think of the folders as different topics. And what Zotero does in one click is it adds it into the folder that is open. Okay, so it added it into the folder that was open. And then when I'm ready to write a paper, let's say I'm ready to do my citation. Now, on mine, it looks like a little scroll. This is in Word. I have an older Mac computer. On many of the computers, it actually just says the word Zotero when you install it. But I can add the citation. Let's say, I think it was this one. So here is what I found, and then you do a colon and your page number, and you hit enter. And you can see it put the little 1 there, and then it did this, and this is doing Turabian. Turabian is the citation style that we're using at the GTU. It put the citation at the bottom in Turabian. And you would just keep doing this for all of your citations. Let's say you write a paper and you're using, 50 different sources. And then at the end, I just want to put my bibliography in. Oh, it's really thinking about that. So it would put your bibliography in alphabetical order. So that's the really nice thing about this is it would go through your paper. I'm not sure why mine is so slow. It's really thinking about the citation there. But it would bring it all in, and it's all done in one click from the browser. So you can just bring in papers, you can bring in ebooks. So like this is an ebook, you can bring in that. As you're finding things in the library, it'll bring it all in to Zotero. I'm gonna go back to the home page. Now it doesn't just do our library's works. Oh, see there, it did it. It's a little slow there. But you could use this at any library. So let's say you're using your local public library or another university library. You can also do this on the news. So for example, if you're reading the New York Times and you want to save a story, you can add all of that in with one click into Zotero, and then it keeps everything nice and organized and by topics in here. So that's a really, really nice piece of software. So if you're interested in Zotero, you can go to the workshops page. And I have it a little further down. There it is. And here's a Zotero 5 workshop. Zotero 5 is the latest edition. Okay. And we will be adding more workshops as we figure out the dates, and then you can log in to Zoom and join us for the workshops. The next couple things I want to talk about are related to the new services. Because the library is currently closed due to the pandemic, we have done a lot of different new services that we're trying to make sure everyone has access to everything they need. So there are two particular ones here. If you are in the Bay Area, you can request curbside pickup. So that's what this one is, curbside pickup of materials. You can use either library. So we have the main branch of the library is in Berkeley, and then we have in San Anselmo, California, that's in the North Bay, that's where the SFTS library is. And you can find the items you'd like, the print items. You can reserve them in Grace, so you can put holds on them. And then just go to this is just a form, and fill it out and let us know which library you'd like to pick up your items at, and then your contact information. And one of my colleagues will contact you and say, your items are ready, you can come by the library. And he'll give you a phone number so you can call when you get there. Please wear a mask and wait in your vehicle until they say that you can come up to the door and get the materials. So this is if you're in the Bay Area. We also do have a video available that talks more about how to actually go in, reserve the items, all of that. Scanning. You can also request scans of anything that is on the shelf and available. So for example, if there is, let's say, a book chapter you want and you live in another state, you can request us to scan it and send it to you as an email. We can also scan things like if there's archival materials you want, if there's reference materials. It has to be available on the shelf though. So if something is already checked out by another student, we wouldn't be able to scan it. But this is something that you can request. If there's articles, we do have some journals that are print only. You can request scans of those. I do want to mention for any students who maybe have been here in the past, we used to have course reserves physically in the library. So your professors would assign something and you'd have to come to the library and look at it. This semester, because we are closed, we are scanning anything the professors want. So if there's any course reserves, print materials that they want you to read for their class, we're scanning it for them, and those are going to be available in your Moodle space. So the space for your class, the professors will have scans of, if it's book chapters or readings, whatever it is, those will be available there. Right below this is interlibrary loan. If there is something the library does not own and you would like it, we can get it from another library. So this is fastest for articles. So if there's journal articles we don't have, we can get them. If there are some print items, we can request them, but many of the libraries are not sending print items. But instead they might say, you know, we have this item, we can scan it. Some people don't want to send things because libraries are closed or they might get lost. So let us know if there's anything, you know, that you'd like. And then finally over here, suggest a purchase. We've been buying a ton of ebooks lately, as you can imagine. But if there are more things that you'd like us to buy, let us know. So especially for books, the ebooks, when we purchase them, sometimes they're available the next day. So they're pretty quick. If it's not available as an ebook and we buy it as print, it does take longer because it'll need to come. And then it can eventually be scanned or checked out. But let us know if there's things you want, if there's areas that you're working in and we don't have stuff, or if there's new authors, we'd love to get those things. Okay, a few more things that I want to talk about. Let me just stop my screen share here. Okay, so some unknowns that we currently have right now. The most common question is, when are we going to be open? And we don't know. The Berkeley Health Department controls, when libraries can open and when spaces are publicly accessible. And right now, we are not allowed to open. So, please do use our scanning services. If you're in the area, please use the curbside pickup and chat with us. You can always chat with us and, get questions answered. We can meet with you on Zoom because we don't know when we're going to be back in the building. We also don't know when UC Berkeley is going to be open. As many of you know, they're across the street, and many of our students like to go over there, check out books, borrow, things, use their databases. And currently they're not open either. And we don't know when they're going to be open or what kind of access we're going to have to their library. But, you can request those things through interlibrary loan and we will get them. The final program that we don't know about is we have a program called the ATLA Reciprocal Borrowing Program, which this would allow students who lived in other areas to use local libraries near them. So for example, if you were in Denver, you could go in and use seminary libraries that are in Denver. Because we don't know the status of many of these other libraries, if they're open or not, please check with us and we can ask them and find out. But many of the reciprocal borrowing things are put on hold just because we're not sure of the status of the other libraries. One thing we do know is that the GTU librarians are going to be working from home for the fall semester, at least the reference librarians. So we are going to be doing all of our instruction online. We can meet with you. We can answer your questions. We're going to be on reference during the week. So you can, log in and chat with us. And we are going to be doing everything we can online to help you. So again, our address is library@gtu.edu. And you can also chat us through the library webpage or through Moodle or through the guides. But do send us any questions you have, and welcome.